Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Devontae, aka Devon, coming to you live once again from the Red Room. Now, we are here today to give you another video, and today we will be talking about Sha'Carri Richadson and her suspension. Now, this has been a big topic, and a lot of people have, been giving their thoughts to it, and I just want to make sure we have the facts of the situation. And a lot of allegations have been thrown out. So we're just going to talk about it today, during today's tea time. But before we get into this video, I need you guys to do a couple of things for me. And I think you already know what I'm talking about. And that is none other than liking, subscribing, commenting, and hitting the notification bell so that way you know everything that's going on here at #Imperial TV. Now, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and hop into this tea time video. Now, Chile. The tea has been very hot surrounding, the Olympics. At first, we were all excited, that Sha'Carri had, done everything that she had done and, accomplished what she had accomplished. And I think people were more so excited. Well, I know I was more so excited because of the fact you had someone representing black people in the fullest extent of what black people can be. Just like any other race, you have black people that come in, different walks of life. They have different upbringings, they come from different financial backings, come from different home situations, so it was refreshing to see someone who came off as, the round the way girl, the girl next door, the girl you can chill with on the corner and, chop it up with. So it was good to me to see that, because in today's times, our young black people look different than how they did, back in the 90s. The style changes, trends change, things of that nature. So even though, she received a lot of controversy over, her look with her nails and the different colors of hair that she wears, that's who, or not who, but that's, that's what our young people look like now. But moving on. Now, the hair and nails didn't bother me. I honestly didn't care because I feel like when it comes to athletics, there's a little more breathing room as compared to other professions or other, professional climates or whatever. Athletics, they tend to be a little more relaxed because it's like, it really don't matter what you look like. It's simply a matter of when it comes to the game, the match, the tournament, can you get the job done? And so it never really bothered me. Because like she quoted, to quote her, as she said, like when it comes to getting on that track and doing what she has to do, she did what she had to do, regardless of how long her hair was, regardless of what color her hair was, and regardless of what color her nails were or how long her nails were, despite her tattoos. When she stepped on that track, she did what she had to do. So in my opinion, the hair and nails weren't really a factor for me. I feel like a lot of people really put too much emphasis on her appearance. They kind of did the same thing with FloJo, but that didn't stop FloJo from doing what she had to do. So I really don't think it matters, to be honest, because, y'all praise, the basketball players, the football players for, doing what they want to do, expressing themselves. Nobody said anything about Odell Beckham when he came out with his blonde hair, so I don't really feel like that was the issue to me. So after, Sha'Carri goes on, she wins her races, and she's now a part of, the U.S. Olympic team. We're all excited. I was excited because I was so ready to see what the race was going to be like between her and the girl from Jamaica. And it was another girl, too, whose time was like very, very close to Sha'Carri's. And so I was amped. I was ready to see what this race was going to be like because I knew it was going to be a good race this year. And right after that, the hammer was dropped. And we find out that she was suspended. Now, the reason of the suspension was because, she tested positive, and she had marijuana in her system. Now, even though marijuana in the U.S. is still a debatable topic, because, we have so many states now where marijuana is actually legal, the Olympic Games are not sanctioned by any particular country. So they abide by their own rules. And that's just what it is. If the Olympics say, you're not to have any narcotic, any drug enhancement, if they say you're not supposed to have anything in your system, then that's just what it is. You're not supposed to test positive with that in your system. So I'm not bashing her, and I'm not doing a whole, oh, that's good for you type situation. It's not that. It's simply, rules are rules. And if, one person has to abide by the rules, everybody has to abide by the rules. And that's just what it is. So a lot of people were saying like, oh, well, they disqualified her time at the U.S. trials. Yes, they did. Reason being because the U.S. trials are, the stepping stone to the Olympics. So even though the U.S. ran the trials, they still have to abide by the Olympics rules. That's just what it is. They still have to abide by the IOC's rules. And so that's why her time was disqualified. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, rules are rules, and you have to follow the rules. I feel like a lot of people like to try and come up with ways to go around the rules, or come up with ways to try to make people not have to pay or answer for the actions that they have done. And in this situation, she just has to, learn that lesson and keep it pushing. Now, I'm not taking anything away from her. Because like I said, I was ready to see her run. And I'm not bashing her, which a lot of people did. A lot of people bashed her, talked about her, trying to throw back in her face, when she was saying, she's that girl. She still is that girl. She still is. She just messed up. And she made a mistake. Everybody's entitled to mistakes. Everybody's entitled to mess ups. We're all human. So I don't feel like she needs to be chastised, by her community. I feel like that's not our place and that's not our job. Our job is to let her know, hey, look, you made a mistake, you messed up, but guess what? You got your whole life ahead of you, and you can come back and you can reclaim your time. Work extra hard, come back, reclaim your time, reclaim your spot, and do the thing the next go around. So I don't feel like she needs to be bashed. I just feel like this was a learning lesson for her. Like I said, she's young, and this is her first time doing something like this. The only thing that I would say to Sha'Carri is that, which I'm pretty sure somebody has said this to her, but the only advice I would have for her is, when you start elevating in your life, you have to start moving different. When you start going up in your life, you sometimes have to dismiss the people you used to hang out with. You sometimes have to cut out a lot of the things that you're used to doing, because you have to grow with your situation. And her situation had reached an Olympic level, which means, you have to move a different way. You can't do the same things you did when you were down here at a lower level. You have to adjust to the higher level. And I feel like that's really all that was. It's just a learning lesson, and I think she's learned that, like, you have to move different. Now, I know people were saying that, she had lost her biological mom and stuff like that, and I understand that is a tricky time, and everybody grieves differently. However, at the same time, you still have to remember what your reality is. And her reality was, yes, she was grieving her mom, and I know you can't tell people how to grieve, but yes, she was grieving the loss of her mother. But at the same time, she can't forget everything that she has going on in her current present time as well with that and what she had at stake. That's all I'm saying. It may sound mean to some people because some people take grief to a whole other level, but I mean, that's the reality. You have to still remember, yes, I've lost this person, but I can't lose everything. I can't lose my life. I can't lose everything I've worked hard to get to because, you know, I'm grieving. And like I said, I'm not judging because, like I said, grief is different for everybody, and everybody grieves differently. Like I'm just simply saying, I feel like she has now learned that lesson of she's in a different place in her life, she's at a different level in her life, so she can't continue to do things at this higher level the way she did it when she was at a lower level in her life. And that's for anybody. That's for anybody. When you start moving up in the world and in your life, you have to start switching it up. Now, I started getting annoyed when I seen people all on social media just posting, oh, keep that same energy, keep that same energy, keep that same energy. And they were saying that in regards to Sha'Carri and Michael Phelps. Because a lot of people started comparing the two situations, and a lot of people couldn't figure out why, with them having similar situations, why Michael Phelps was still allowed to compete. Now, I had already had prior knowledge of what went down with Michael Phelps because he was somebody I used to watch too. He was one of those people I like to watch at the Olympics. So I already had prior knowledge of what had went on with Michael Phelps, but to, you know, reintroduce it to my brain, to the forefront of my brain, I went and did research. And this is the thing I'm gonna tell people. Do your research. Do not just take what somebody posts on social media as hardcore fact and take it and run with it. Because you can sometimes end up looking very ignorant and looking like somebody that has no sense and no knowledge. One thing my dad always told me was smartphones are called smartphones for a reason. So don't just sit there and just go off of hearsay. Actually go look up stuff. Do your own research and find out about different movements, different organizations, just information period, before you just go blindly reposting or resharing something you see on social media. Because a lot of times, a lot of that stuff just be troll accounts that are purposely there in place to start commotion and to start dysfunction. And so many people fall prey to that and fall into that trap. And it's kind of getting old and it's getting ridiculous because it's like we all grown. So instead of sitting here just blindly following behind what somebody say, before you start bring up the whole race thing, oh, it's because he's a white man, she's a black woman, do your research and actually understand what you're talking about and what you're saying when you're saying it. Because when you break the two situations down, had they kept the same energy with Sha'Carri as they kept with Michael Phelps, y'all really would be mad. And I'm going to read the article that breaks everything down. So I have the article pulled up here on my tab. I'm going to read it for you guys. And I'm also going to put the link to the article in the description box of this video. So that way you can go read it for yourself. So that way you're not thinking I'm just putting stuff out my behind. But yeah, so because it had been put so much on social media about the comparison between the two, Sporting News did an article, and the article was written by Edward Suitland, and they did an article on it and comparing the suspensions of Sha'Carri and Michael Phelps. So I'm gonna get directly down to the part where they actually break everything down. So, okay, so it has here, was Michael Phelps suspended for smoking weed? Now, this is what it says in the article. I'm going to read it verbatim. Richardson is facing a 30-day suspension for testing positive for marijuana. Phelps' penalty after the photo leaked was much stiffer. So the thing is, before I get into the rest of it, Michael Phelps was not suspended because he tested positive. He did not take a drug test like Sha'Carri did and test positive. His suspension came from a picture of him smoking out of a bong or something like that. But it was a picture of him smoking weed. He did not take a test and it came back positive in the same case as Sha'Carri's. So, continuing on, USA Swimming suspended Phelps from competition for 3 months, not just one. Sha'Carri got 1 month suspension. Michael Phelps got 3 months of suspension. For 3 months, and said that it would withdraw its financial support of him. The fallout from Phelps' suspension included more than just the inability to compete, though. Kellogg announced that it would not renew its expiring sponsorship deal with Phelps. Now, Nike chose to keep supporting and endorsing Sha'Carri. Phelps lost his support. So the USA Swimming withdrew its financial support, as well as Kellogg did not renew its contract or whatever kind of type of endorsement deal they had with him. Sha'Carri only got 1 month suspension. Phelps got 3 months of suspension. But y'all want them to keep that same energy. Had they kept that same energy, Sha'Carri would have 3 months of suspension, as well as losing her endorsement. And she did not lose any of her endorsements, which I think Nike may have been the only one. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I think Nike might have been the only one. But like I said, according to this article, the United States of America Swimming suspended him and withdrew their financial support of him. And then Kellogg's went on to do the same thing as well. So, yeah. Completely different. Moving on. One other major difference between the Richardson and Phelps cases is the timing. Phelps was suspended in February 2009, 6 months after the 2008 Olympics and 5 months before the 2009 World Championships. Richardson's suspension goes into effect less than a month before the start of the Tokyo Olympics. Another difference between the two situations was Richardson ingested marijuana in a state where it is legal, whereas when the Phelps image came out, non-medical use of marijuana was illegal nationwide, although that does not appear to factor into the penalty. So, yeah. I mean, it's right there. You just have to go do the research and find it versus trying to push a narrative to get likes and clicks on your posts on social media. So yeah, there is no comparison of the two situations. Again, Sha'Carri got 1 month of suspension. Michael Phelps got 3 months of suspension. Sha'Carri kept her endorsements. Michael Phelps lost his financial backing and his endorsements. Also, the biggest factor is timing. Sha'Carri, she peed and tested positive for marijuana right before actually going to compete. Michael Phelps didn't piss positive. He just had somebody post a picture of him doing marijuana, which occurred after he had competed. So Michael Phelps never pissed positive for marijuana. Now, the other stuff that happened with Michael Phelps later on down the road with where it involved him, losing medals and this and the third, that happened later down the road. But as far as the situation they're comparing with marijuana, because he actually tested positive later on down the road for a different type of drug that he was not supposed to have in his system, but he pissed positive for that. So that's what I'm saying. Y'all trying to compare the two, but Michael Phelps did not pee positive. He didn't. Sha'Carri did. And like I said, on top of that, his picture came out after he had competed. And I think it said, what, 6 months after he had competed? Sha'Carri peed positive right before going to compete. The two are unrelated. So, for everybody that's saying keep that same energy, if they would have kept that same energy, she would have been done altogether. And y'all really would have been mad then. So, my thing is this. Know what you're talking about before you just go putting stuff on social media. Luckily, these people don't pay y'all no attention, because if they did, and everybody telling me keep that same energy, like I said, you really would have been mad. But, like I said, I have no ill feelings towards Sha'Carri. She's young, and, you know, people make mistakes. We've all made mistakes. And like I said, I think she hadn't fully adjusted to this new level she had reached in her life. But, I mean, I think it's safe to say she now understands and she knows you can't do the same things you did before. And that's all it is. But, you know, drop down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, because I'm pretty sure some people will probably watch this or see other people who have said the same thing that I have said and still feel the same way. They should have kept the same energy. Drop down in the comments and let me know if y'all feel like they should have kept the same energy. Let me know if y'all feel like, you know, everything's justified. I don't smoke, so I don't care if they legalize marijuana. I don't care. But for the ones that keep arguing, oh, marijuana needs to be legalized, shut up. Because if y'all ain't finna get y'all pothead asses on these committees and on these boards and vote to have it approved all of a sudden the third, then hush and take whatever they give you. That's all I got to say. I got to go because I got other videos to shoot and I got to go to work in the morning. So I'm over and out. Bye.